right, everybody. My next guest is a 2022 Juno Award nominee for his comedy album, All Inclusive Coma. Here he is, the one and only, all the way from Canada, Gavin Stevens. How you doing, man? I'm in Long Island. Yeah.
Long Island. Yes, that's right. That's like, you guys know Juno's in Long Island in New York. And yeah,
I follow it just mainly because of the comedy stuff, and I dig a lot of the Canadian music. I used to back in the day work for a music magazine called Circus Magazine. I don't know if you remember Circus. It was like a heavy.
I think I do.
Yeah. So we would, like Theory of a Dead Man and Nickelback and all these great rock bands from over there, and then you get great rap acts over there too.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh man, what was the name? It was I forget the name of them. They were a white dude and a black dude.
Oh gosh, I know exactly who you're talking about, and I forget their name now too.
Yeah. They were great. I'll pop them in. Can I edit this? I'll pop them in so we can see where they were. They were great back in the day, man. You violate my team, I'm going off. I'm going off. You know why? 'Cause I'm louder. Yeah. You also got Nardwar over there.
Yeah. Oh
yeah. So I get a lot just by watching Nardwar. I get my fill of the Canadian scene. Nardwar. But dude, this is huge, man. Congrats on the Juno. For those who don't know, the Juno is like an Emmy here in the States.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would say your Grammys, but yeah, I guess.
Oh, that's what I meant. Grammys.
Canada's Grammys, I guess it would be. Yeah.
It's showtime. Canada's biggest night in music. I am so ready for this. The Juno Awards.
Yeah.
This is huge, man. Congratulations. When did you get the call, and how long have you known that you were up for this award? And was it like, take me
my label submitted me Allison Dorr with Alan Rohr. They submitted me last year, and I just kind of forgot about it. And then I found out, I would say March. I want to say around March, or just I kind of saw them tweet it, and I was like, oh, because they did, they do those like they do the whole, I guess, like a press conference deal, and then I was like, oh, I guess I got nominated. So it was like
you were that relaxed about it.
Well, I'm so old that you just like, you just kind of roll through life. You just like, everything's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I got
you. Just kind of like, you don't expect things, so you just go, oh, that happened. Yeah.
You just kind of like, oh, okay, I guess that's nice. We'll see how that goes.
Exactly. It's something else I have to deal with. Okay. Yeah.
Now I got to go buy a suit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so much stuff that happened within like 2 years that you get a Junior. Oh, okay. All right. It's nice. It's nice. Yeah. It's
good though to have something positive happen, right? I mean,
for sure.
The last few years have been rough on all of us in the world, man. And, it's nice to get a nod like that, to get a little nod for all your hard work and your efforts, and to be recognized, man. So that's
that's the deal. Is like, it's like, oh, I put the work into this album, and you're right. You're 100% right. That was nice. Yeah.
When you put together an album like this, I mean, it's like, doing a special or anything. How much, work goes into that, and like, how long did it take for you to finally get this full album completed? Like, I like, they always say, like, I don't know if this is your first album or not, but I know they say, the first album is you have your whole life to make it.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's a few years. So what was the process?
Well, I mean, my first album was like, I was 2001 or 2 or something like that. And then, so, I mean, I did a couple of more, but this one was probably about a year or so, just over a year of putting thing, and then figuring out the theme, and then like piecing everything together. So it was like, this one was more of like like putting it together, had more patience, and it was like a little bit more work and understanding what I needed to do. So it took about like just probably 2 years, a year and a bit. Yeah.
Yay! You see him like in a limo screaming after prom or something. You're like, it goes downhill from now. And they're like, what? What did that crazy old man say? He said life is shit. Because it is, right?
What's cool is a guy, like comic like you who's been in the game for a long time, and with a body of work behind you, you could actually see your evolution from album to album, not only in your style and your craft, but also in where you are in life. Like you said, like now you're probably talking more from the POV of an older guy.
Yep.
And the challenges of that.
Yeah.
And I could relate totally.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know I don't know how it is in the States, but like here, I just find artists young artists are great, but I think we focus more on young artists, whereas like you get a different perspective from someone who's been doing it for a while. So, but I mean, yeah, you're right. It's like you grow and you change, and yeah.
It's weird how especially like when you're at the Junos with the music stuff. I know that a lot of the music is definitely geared towards the young and all of that, and it's kind of weird because like I feel like they should celebrate older people more. And as I get older, I feel that more and more. Like, hey, you should celebrate me more.
Yeah, when I was younger, I didn't care. Like, screw old people. Exactly. And now it's like.
It's true.
Don't leave me behind. I just think it's different. Like I'm all for different, like hearing different perspectives. So different voices are always good for me. Like as long as it's good, as long as you can make it relate to people, that's all that matters. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because like I was talking to a bunch of comics through the years, and they always say, look, as long as it's funny, you could tread on different subject matters, you cross lines here and there, you can talk about some dark stuff, but as long as the payoff lands, as long as
exactly. As long as it's relatable and as long as it's funny, like that's all that matters to me. Yeah, I can listen to any type of comic or any type of music as long as it's like you can tell when someone puts like it's honest. I guess that's the best way to put it, when it's honest, right?
Yeah, that's great. That's a great way to put it. Yeah, I like all my art and I think that's what separates real art, whatever genre art you're talking about. But I think that it all has that one thing in common is if it's coming from a real place, if it's true, passion. I think that's what separates art that stands the test of time versus like everything else, I guess you could.
100%. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, because like what I find with comedy is like we all kind of talk about the same thing in a way. Like as you get older, like everyone's talking about something in their 20s, and they're all kind of talking about the same perspective. And it's just the way you talk about it, with the difference of who you are. But it's like you're all kind of talking about the same thing, so it's all relatable. And I find as you get older, you relate to the generation before you better because you have that perspective.
Right.
Yeah. As long as you're honest, I think that's the main thing.
True indeed, man.
Like you guys know jobs now too, millennials, right? This is the first time in human history you can use the words professional and dog walker in the same sentence. You know what I mean? You know how many imaginary millennial businesses I've been to? I've been to a board game cafe and an axe throwing bar. It's like you're creating an economy based on an 8-year-old's birthday party. You know?
With the Juno stuff, is this your first time ever being nominated?
Yeah.
And running this path?
Yeah. This is the first time, which is I know they stopped doing it for a bit. I'm not sure. It must have been like years ago, and then they brought it back again. But yeah, this is my first one. So it's pretty. Yeah.
This is huge, man. It's in a couple of days too, right? Like, is it going down?
It's Saturday night, so we have a dinner, and then they're gonna announce the winners, I guess, and then I'll take the public transit home with and if I win, my wife's like, you can't, you'll get mugged, so I have to take an Uber home. So if I win.
Wow. Yeah. There you go. In the Uber with a Juno Award in your hand.
With a Juno, if I win. Or just sadness. Take an Uber home with a whole bunch of sadness. It's one of the two.
Have you already written a speech and you have that prepared? And that's got to be, a tough process in and of itself.
I agree with you. I have nothing. It's remembering people's names, but I'm just gonna be like, if I win, just like, I remember the names I need to remember, and the rest of them, whatever. Like, sorry, a preemptive sorry.
Just as long as you get your wife in there,
yeah,
you're gold.
Yeah, that's it. It's not televised, so that's a good thing. It's streaming, but it's not televised. Yeah.
Why do they? Why do they not decide not to televise any particular?
I guess I'm in the award section where it's like it's a lot of people, and so the televised one is like the bigger names. It's all the bigger bands and stuff. Like I'm guessing it's like the Drakes and the Justin Biebers and stuff. And I'm in the we're the working class awards, I guess, and not the main guys. Yes.
Yeah, we're the ones taking the Ubers home.
Yeah, exactly. Or public transit. Yeah, we're those.
But no, this is an awesome honor because the Junos are very like prestigious and they do have a rich history. And what other comedy albums are in your category?
I know there's Andrea Jens. I forget her comedy, the name of her album. Hashim Khaledi is Tiger King. Who else? Oh my god, I'm forgetting people's names right now. You put me on the spot. I feel bad. I'm Keith Pedro he's nominated, and somebody else who's not. We're doing a show tomorrow night. He's not on the show, so I'm not sure. I forget his name. You put me on the spot with that one. I feel bad.
No, it's all good, man. And I think I'm putting my money on you, man. I'm hoping you win. I'm knocking on wood, and
people are telling me like I'm the only one that's like, it's fine. Everybody else is like, no, man, this is big, and I'm like, is it? I'm like, I just thought it was like nice, and but I appreciate you knocking on wood for me.
Yeah, man, for sure. Have you ever been in a situation of getting an award where if you don't win, you still pretend and like, yeah, all right.
Oh yeah, many times. I've always been runner up. I've always there was one time where I was we used to have the Tim Sims Award, which was like a younger new comic award at Second City, and I was nominated for that. I was in that, and there was another person with Gavin, and so when they announced they went Gavin, I almost walked through the curtain, but it was the other guy.
Oh man,
he was very talented, but yeah, it was Gavin Crawford, not Gavin Stevens, and I was okay.
Oh, that's one of those when your heart goes whoop, whoop.
Yeah, it's quick. It's like, oh, it wasn't for me. It's not for me. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I have good vibes for you, man. I'm hoping that that this works for you.
Hey, I'll let you know if I got a trophy. I'll send you a photo, and then you can be interesting. That's the weird thing. Is like, where do you put this trophy? Like, where do you stick it?
You might have to just create a whole trophy case just for that, and just start there.
Yeah, that, and then some like karate trophies from when I was a kid. And then...
There you go. I one time got a huge karate trophy. It was like gigantic. Second place, and this trophy must have been 3 feet tall.
Yeah,
and the only thing why I was never proud of that trophy was because it literally was just me and this other kid. And he kicked my ass, and then he got the bigger trophy. And
you got this. Yeah, why is a karate trophy so big too? Like, it's always they always so giant. And there's only the two of you in that tournament.
Yeah, that was like in my weight class and everything. It was just me and this other kid. And I like it. It just felt like, you talk about getting like the prize handed to you kind of thing, the participation trophy. That was like,
you just got a free trophy. That's what happened.
Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, man, and I was just also going to say, if you're going on the, luckily you don't have to worry about any Will Smith type of action going on during these awards.
Yeah, Oh, I'm not hosting, so that's good too. But yeah, the Will Smith coming up and smacking, it made it interesting. I'll tell you that. It was interesting. It was like, oh, that's nice.
I think it was the most people talked about the Oscars in like 5 years.
True. Does anyone watch it anymore? I mean,
yeah, it doesn't feel like it.
I just happened to be watching it. I don't even know why I was watching it. 'Cause my wife doesn't like it. I mean, she doesn't care. I don't care. And then it happened. I was like, what's going on?
Dude, I was looking at Twitter and all of a sudden I saw that it just said somebody, I forget who it was, but they were like trying to figure out if this was real or sketch. And then they like, Will Smith just slapped Chris Rock. I was like, what? So I turned it on real quick. And then, man, it was just crazy.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? Richard.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Out of all the award shows, that one. That's the thing. It's like that one. That's the one that happened at. Okay. Like I don't know. I mean, all award shows it would be weird, but the Oscars.
The Oscars is like the big Willie.
It's so elegant. It's so elegant. Yeah, it's just so classy. And then he sat down back in his seat. That was amazing. That was fun. That was nice. That was a nice time. That was good to watch.
Yeah, you got to go. You sat back down. He enjoyed the rest of the show,
and then did a speech about how he's against violence and stuff. I was like, what? We all saw what we saw, right?
It's like
gaslight everybody. Everyone watching the Oscars, he was gaslighting. And that was great.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you.
It's amazing to me how, one of the greatest moments of his career is also the end of his career, all in the same situations within an hour.
You think he's done? You think he's like, this is it?
I don't know, man. I think he could be forgiven. I think people always want to forgive, but I think it's, I think he's going to have to maybe bottom out a little more.
Like a Mel Gibson, just like he's gone for a few years and then comes back.
Yeah. But I think he'll come back in a bigger way. I think Gibson came back, but people still roll their eyes when they see him. I think when they see Mel Gibson, like, oh God, he's still here.
It's true. It's kind of like you just accept Mel Gibson. You're like, all right, he's here.
Yeah, it's like, oh, all right, like, he's still doing it, huh?
He's a thing. Like it's like black mold. Like some people have it in their house. It's like, all right, well, we got to deal with it.
But I do think when Will comes back, because he was so beloved, he was loved in a different way than like Mel Gibson. To compare those two, like Will Smith is people's childhood. He's the TV show, the movies, the music. He's just means so much, and for him to fall from grace like this, I think now they're angry. People are mad for what he did, but I think someday he'll come back and probably hopefully in a good, positive, bigger way. But it's gonna.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I think you're right. I think he's not Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson, and then you're right. I think you're right. I agree with you.
Yeah, and what he did was if just to compare these two guys. But what he did was different than Mel. I mean, Mel has
100%.
Drunken stupors, slurs.
Yeah, he was
sexist stuff.
He was bad. But the Will thing was just like completely out of character. Completely, but you're right. I agree with you. Comics are mad, but
the comics are mad and not going to get over that soon.
No,
I think Will's will be a punchline for a long time.
Agreed.
Be listening to some music. We're going to be dancing. We're going to be singing. We're going to be keeping people's names out of our mouths, and we're going to be giving out awards.
I want to warn you all that our next presenter is a comedian, if you know what I mean.
Thank you. They said comedians have to wear these now at award shows during their joke parts.
I think the slap, if he just slapped him and sat down, we might have gotten over it faster. It was the keep my wife's name, how'd you, all that stuff, I think was like, whoa.
But like, even if he only did that too, would be better than the slap. But you're right. If he just slapped and sat down, that was the end of it. The whole thing was just insane. It's like, what did Will Smith just slap Chris Rock?
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
It was just two superstars, you know, in their fields. It just was.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like these are two like what multimillionaires having a fight on camera. It's like, what are you mad about?
At the most elegant award show.
Like, your shoes cost more than what I make in a year, and you're like fighting on camera. It's crazy.
That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Well, if something like that goes down at the Junos, man, just take videos and send them my way, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, it's all World Star. Everything's getting filmed.
World Star, nice.
Yeah, everything's getting filmed. The blue collar night, no one's gonna do anything. I don't think it's Canada too. Like Canadian, there's no. It's a lot of apologies. A lot of. Oh sorry. There's no fighting. There's no slapping.
I had this whole plan. I was gonna do some amazing crowd work, and then like you guys are so polite. Like, I'm here for a show. Whatever you say, Gavin. I'm like, oh, fuck this. That's the other thing as a Canadian comic. You play some rowdy rooms, so you gotta like battle people. So like you become really good at like making fun of people, but this tonight you guys are civilized.
What part of? I know that's the awards is in Toronto. Is that where you're from, Toronto?
Yeah, I'm originally Toronto. I live in Hamilton. I don't know if you know Hamilton. It's like an hour outside of Toronto. It's
okay, cool.
Like little blue collar city. So I live out there. But yeah, I'm from Toronto. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I've been to Toronto a few times. I worked in hockey for a little bit. I worked for the Carolina Hurricanes, and we would travel with the team. So I've been to a couple of cities in Canada. Always loved it. Toronto is awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, it's a great city. People love the city. Yeah, but except when like our NBA's like we're the champs, no one cares. Or baseball, it's like, oh, the ratings are low. It's like what? But yeah, it's a great city. I like it. It's expensive, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's like it's just like New York City.
Yeah,
with the prices and all that kind of stuff.
It's crazy.
But always had a good time there. And yeah, man. And now you guys all good with this convoy stuff and all that action that was going on in Ottawa.
The thing is like most people were against it. Like most people just didn't. Because I was in Ottawa the week after it ended, and like every once in a while you get people pipe up and just like, yeah, freedom. It's like, but what does that mean? They've been doing this stunt for years though. Like they did it a few years before 2019. They did convoy, and then so it's like it's gonna happen again because they just did another one with the motorcycles. So I'm guessing it's gonna be an annual thing.
I didn't realize that was like a normal, normal thing for what as a protest style for the truck drivers. I guess they just convoy it up.
It's not even like because it was a few trucks. I mean, I'm underestimating, but it was mainly truck owners who were like people who own their trucks. Because you take a week off, 3 weeks off work. There's no way.
Right. Yeah.
So it was like, yeah. I guess it's a normal thing. I don't know. It's what they've done it before, and they're gonna do it again. So they just keep changing the name and keep changing. Like this last one, they were like, "We're reclaiming the war monument." It wasn't taken away; it was still there. It's just they just have different excuses to do it.
A bit of deja vu in downtown Ottawa, as a procession of motorcycles rolled through the capital with a message all too familiar.
I just feel like everybody, when they get into groups, they just want to find a reason to be mad. No matter what, everybody's just mad, especially here in the States, it's like that. And it gets frustrating because, it's like, look, could we just figure it out
Yeah. There's so many more important things to be like part of me is like, okay, the way we handled the pandemic in a lot of places wasn't great. I understand the frustration of people on that level. Like we could have handled it way better and had these lockdowns be more effective. But like at the same time, it's like, okay, can we just like, there's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of people using people to make some point that has nothing to do with like the actual what's really happening on the ground. Yeah. A lot of people are angry and a lot of people are being manipulated too. Yeah, I see it in the States too.
Yeah.
It's
And when there's this much like negativity going on in the world, is that a challenge for you as a comedian to say, all right, I'm going to take these subjects, lighten them up, or I'm going to key in on this, or do you stay away from those? And
no, I kind of do it, but I do it more subtly. I can't do it like, I know there's some great comics who can overtly talk about political stuff. I can't. It's just not what I can do. I do it more subtly, so it's more my perspective of stuff. It's more of a dumbing down of the thing for me and being able to talk about it.
Right.
Because I don't know why. It's just that's my style.
Millennials get shit on. Everyone acts like you're the worst fucking generation, but you just got pushed into some shit that you had no control. Like the environment. That's baby boomers horse shit. You know what I mean? Baby boomers fucked up the environment.
For comedians in general, I think we need comedy more than ever. I think every generation would say that because every generation is faced with their own trials and tribulations. But I always think if you look at history, that's where all the great comedians really start popping up is through the rough times, you know?
Yeah. I mean, but it always is, right? Like, but yeah, I mean, and they're relevant. Like, still, Carlin's still kind of relevant today, right? Like, he's still like what he talks about is like even with you guys with Roe versus Wade stuff, and he's still like he has commentary on that. It's fascinating.
Pro-life conservatives are obsessed with the fetus from conception to 9 months. After that, they don't want to know about you. They don't want to hear from you. No, nothing. No neonatal care, no daycare, no Head Start, no school lunch, no food stamps, no welfare, no nothing. If you're pre-born, you're fine. If you're preschool, you're fucked.
It is cool when people, you'll like look on Twitter or whatever, and you'll see, bits from Carlin that are keying in right on stuff. It's like, then you realize, man, maybe we haven't really evolved much. He's right on point with what we're going through now.
But Carlin's also one of those guys who just like kind of, he's almost predicting things too in a way. Like he just kind of cuts through we can't swear on this, right? Like he cuts through the bullshit, and I don't know, he's just really good. Like he just cuts through all of that, and he just understands. He's one of those, like when I look at Carlin now, I'm like, I watch his stuff, you're like, duh, right? Like it sounds obvious, but when you watch him at the time, it's groundbreaking. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
for sure. Now it's like, yeah, of course that makes sense, but at the time it's groundbreaking. It's just he's ahead of his time.
He's ahead of his time. He was like a visionary of sorts. He saw it coming.
Yeah.
And also, the brilliant wordsmith and craftsman as far as finding the funny within there. But like he was way ahead of his time, and like with some of the stuff, especially when he was older and like kind of came across as like a curmudgeon-y, and he's just like,
that special where he's kind of bloated. It was after the wine, like he went to rehab. He made some mistakes, like verbal, but it was great. It's just when he's curmudgeon, the anger is very funny. It's very funny. Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's one of the greats, man. For sure.
Yeah.
Pro-life. You don't see many of these white anti-abortion women volunteering to have any black fetuses transplanted into their uteruses, do you? No, you don't see them adopting a whole lot of crack babies, do you? No, that might be something Christ would do.
Yeah, I have an affinity to angry comics. Like, what's this dude's name? There's a lot of like Jim Gaffigan to me is an angry comic. There's just like I like the clean ones, the clean guys who are like, there's an anger towards what's his name? Oh my god, I keep forgetting his name. He's so funny. But like this, like they're clean comics, and they talk about like kind of mundane things, but they're just
like
so mad at the thing. Like they're just average people they're angry at. Those guys make me laugh so much.
Like Brian Regan.
That's who I was thinking of. Brian Regan.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a twist at the end. What a curveball finish. I could have sworn that was all going somewhere. Could have sworn it. But you flipped the tables. You managed to follow nothing with less.
Brian Regan's anger is the funniest thing on the planet. Just his anger towards average people and average things is funny. It's so funny. Yeah.
I think when you talk about like Gaffigan and Regan and you talk about their anger, I think what makes it even funnier is that the fact that they are clean and they're coming from it, you know, that they're not, you know, MF, you know, they're not going that route. Instead, they're fun in this other way, but the frustration is there.
Yep.
And you could definitely relate. Yeah, it's great stuff, man.
Yeah, it's just so funny. It's like, oh, you're gonna snap at any time. You go through the day complaining about so many things. It just makes me laugh. Yeah.
Remember when we thought the pandemic was over? Everyone was so happy. We did it! We probably look so stupid.
That's great, man. So when you were coming up, were there any were these the comics that were inspiring you?
Kind of. I mean, like there was a lot of guys that were like, I guess imagine like Patrice O'Neill and Chris Rock was a huge inspiration. Richard Pryor but yeah, Carlin was one of those guys where I listened to Carlin and Eddie Murphy. I used to listen to a lot in high school, and I listened to Carlin as I was getting in my 20s, but then I really understood Carlin as I got older. And Sam Kinison, really Sam Kinison's first album. After that, it kind of falls apart for me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I agree with you with Sam. And that's why a lot of times when I do like a top 10 list or whatever, or top 5 list, Kinison's little lower only because he only had that one album. Really, the rest of the stuff was just shtick kind of stuff. He's just
I feel like the drugs and the shticks aspect kind of just when he started doing like the party aspect of everyone on stage and all that stuff, was just like
yeah.
But like his first was amazing. It was so good.
Oh, it was so good, groundbreaking.
Yeah,
and it was great. And he's a hilarious guy. I'm not taking anything away from him for anybody watching who's getting.
It's just for me.
Yeah. Same here. And with Eddie Murphy too. One time I was talking about Eddie Murphy's a Long Island guy. Grew up a couple towns away. But
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's from Roosevelt, Long Island. Him and all the Murphys. And I grew up in Brentwood, which is about like, I don't know, 20 minutes, a couple towns down. Yeah. I never met him or anything. We were comparing him to Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, the difference between Eddie and Richard Pryor is that Richard Pryor really keyed in on social issues a lot, especially when he was Mudbone or whatever. And he talked about the challenges of, being a black man in his era and all of those types of things. When you look at Eddie, I think because he stopped doing stand-up, I think he probably would have eventually gotten there.
Yeah.
He never really went that deep. He was always kind of on the
silly guy.
Yeah, just talking about,
dirty
sex.
and silly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I love Eddie Murphy. I'm not taking anything away from him, but that's to me the difference between those two guys is when you really look at Richard Pryor's body of work. He gets real deep, man.
I was leaving and I was sitting in the hotel and a voice said to me, said, "Look around, what do you see?" And I said, "I see all colors of people doing everything, And the voice said, "Do you see any niggas?" I said, "No." And I said, "You know why? Because there aren't any." And it hit me like a shot, man. I started crying and shit. I was sitting there, I said, "Yeah, I've been here 3 weeks. I haven't even said it. I haven't even thought it." And it made me say, oh my God, I've been wrong. I've been wrong. I got to regroup my shit. I mean, I said, I ain't gonna never call another black man a nigga.
Well, yeah, Richard Pryor is just one of those, like Carlin, they kind of had their same kind of awakening where they were like at a casino and they kind of snapped. It's like that kind of, like, you could tell these are comics, where Eddie Murphy was a comic, but he's also a genius actor and a producer and writer and all that stuff. So I think, like, yeah, I mean, Richard Pryor was a great actor and everything, not to take that away, but he is a comic first.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He was a comic first, and you know, Eddie, to me, one of the other great things for him as a comedian was that what he did differently than Richard Pryor. I think was really inspired a whole generation of comedians that were young. You know, he was this young kid, leather outfit, and I guess that he really was like everybody wanted to be Eddie.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? And
he was so cool.
Yeah. He brought coolness to comedy.
Yeah, he was like so cool and so talented, like just so talented. I mean, we talk like he's dead. But like coming the first Coming to America is like genius. It is genius.
Yeah, man.
He's amazing. The second one, I can't even watch it. I watched once and that was it.
I got through half of it.
Oh, see, yeah, you did. I didn't. I guess I did better than you, but it was like, nah, you ruined this movie. It did not do. God, the first one didn't have a feel good aspect to it. It was just funny.
Right. Yeah.
And then this, I mean, there was a story arc, but the main thing was funny. And the second one was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It was just like almost like, you know, oh yeah, there's this person. It was like nostalgia. Is all nostalgia.
The member berries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I be damn. Look who done come up in here.
Hey, it's Kunta Kinte and Ebola.
Famine and Blood Diamond. Nelson Mandela and Winnie.
I do appreciate you taking the time and this Juno Award is huge, man.
Thank you.
Do you have a sample of the speech or
I have nothing. I wasn't even joking. I got nothing. I don't even know. I'm so prepared not to win. That's how I'm. Like I told my wife, so I'll just take the subway home. Like you can't take a subway with a Juno. I am so prepared not to win. But that's just old age. That's just being used to. All right.
Exactly.
I set myself up for failure. I won't be disappointed.
Well, I am truly rooting for you. I'm going to be checking for you, and I want you to book that Uber, man, because you're going to have to take the Uber.
I will. Thank you.
But I appreciate you, Gavin. Where can people find you and follow you and all that kind of stuff?
You can go gavinstevens.ca, and I'm on Twitter at Gavin B. Stevens, Instagram at Count Gavin, and everywhere else on the same name. I'm not on TikTok yet. I got to get on that. I just haven't done it.
TikTok's tough because I think you have to gain followers. You have to post something every single day. It's like a job. Yeah, it's like another job.
Man.
Yeah,
I'm already out.
That's why I haven't done it. I'm like, I don't got time for the every day.
Every day.
It's ridiculous. But thanks, man. I appreciate you, Gavin. You're the best.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.